The spiritual path, like I said, like not only me, many great souls said, but your spirituality in one life is not a mere coincidence. It doesn't just happen like that. For you to have a relationship, to get to know about Krishna and Sriman Narayana, God, there must be a continuation of a certain relationship which you have forged with them in your previous lives, So, of course, self-realized saints come, and like I said, often those who get to know the divine name of the Lord and chant the divine name of the Lord, those who have that relationship with the Lord, they never lose anything, because it is a continuation. In Bhagavad Gita chapter 6, verse 30, Bhagavan Krishna said, those who have attained to me, those who perceive me everywhere and see me everywhere, they are never lost to me and I am never lost to them. When we see that, let's say, how can death make that relationship disappear? Death can't make that relationship disappear. It's a continuation of it. So, in your previous life, if you have attained a certain realization, of course that relationship, that realization carry on in this life, growing, of course. So in your question, you said, why is it that those devotees are not easily self-realized in this current life? Look, if it would be easy, one will take it for granted. Because in every life when you are born, your mindset is different. Don't forget, if you are born again, meaning that there is still a karmic process into that. Your mind is still there. Even Jesus, when he was born, being a realized being completely, he had to wait 30 years before he started doing his mission. So there is a right time for each one. Of course, the master perceived that deepness which others don't perceive. And of course, very often there's a rebel mind, so when the mind is rebel, how would one perceive the divinity everywhere? How would one attain to that, self-realized state? Firstly, one is so attached to their vanity and sense, they are so attached to their ego identity that they can't perceive the Lord himself. So those who perceive me everywhere, that is a state which a devotee is called to be. Now, realizing that every time, you are never alone, but the Lord is with you. This is the assurance that he himself gives. Those who perceive me everywhere are never lost to me. They are never separated from me. And I'm not separated from them. So this is the assurance that Bhagavan is saying, that how is that possible for somebody to, if they have attained to that state, to lose me? Impossible. I will make anything possible for them to carry on their spiritual progress. I will do everything for them to perceive me again as they used to perceive me everywhere, at all time. And this is where the Guru come into the life to remind them of that. There's a beautiful story. Once there was a gathering of very learned fish. And these fishes, the very learned, they are talking about, the ocean. Then one of the fish said, well, we talk always about this ocean. Have anybody seen that ocean? Everybody lifted their shoulders, said, no, we didn't know. We don't know where that ocean is. So an old fish came, took the young fish and brought him in a corner and said, that ocean which you are talking about, we are in that ocean. All around, we are born into that ocean, we live into that ocean, and we will die into that ocean. It's the same, you see, with the devotees, where Bhagwan have revealed himself in the form of his name. What he wants that one awake into his love. When one awake into the love, the ego disappeared. One perceived him everywhere. But those which is attached to their ego, their pride, they may talk about that ocean, but they don't have any clue of that ocean. So each people, each devotees which Bhagwan called, he called because he perceived that one hold that deep essence in his life. And when would that essence awake inside of him is only when there is no attachment, firstly, to anything. There's no pride, or the ego is free. One is freed from the ego, But as long as there's a trace of the ego, they will have still to wait for that realization to awake. But deep inside of them, their heart does reveal to them, but there is something more to what they perceived. So let that veil of ignorance, let that veil which separate you from the divine be lifted. Here I'm not talking only about devotees which is close to me, but I'm talking about devotees of Bhagwan himself, from wherever in the world, where he revealed his relationship, he revealed his connection to them. It is not about judgment, because we don't know what is in the heart of each person, but he knows what is in the heart of each person. And he knows when the person is ready. And when the person will be ready, devout of pride and vanity, he will automatically awake. That's why he brings people on the spiritual path. That's why he reminds those who belong to him that they have to transcend their mind and stop viewing the same way that normal people view, but view it with the lens of unjudgment, with the lens of love. Like that, that realization will awake inside. And like I said, to be on the spiritual path itself and to get to know about the divine name itself, it is the first step of realization.